Hello, everybody, and welcome back to BrokeN Boys. This is episode 220. I'm Mike,
And I'm Colin.
and yeah, this week we're gonna talk about the album discography of Modern Baseball, a band completely new to both of us, and interested to hear the thoughts from the other side of the aisle on that one. From Colin. Uh, and yeah, we also did a few things this week. So, but I guess before we get into those, how was your week, Colin?
Week was all right. Worked.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it was the weekend wasn't as bad as I was expecting it to be at work. We had graduation and Mother's Day. So it was the big boss was there again. And if you recall last week, I
Mm-hmm.
said that if he pulled the same shit as he did the week prior, that I would walk out. And surprisingly, he was nicer this week for some reason.
Okay.
Um, don't maybe he woke up on the right side of the bed, or the piss was removed from his Cheerios that morning. But
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
he was nicer. He wasn't on everybody's ass about every little thing. And he kind of just like kept his mouth shut for the most part, which helped a lot.
Yeah.
Still didn't want to be there. It wasn't like too bad. It was busy for a good portion of the day, but not awful. Sunday morning was worse than Saturday at all.
Mm-hmm.
Just breakfast. The end of breakfast was crazy. Max wasn't supposed to start till 11, and she came in early with me when I came in to get breakfast before her shift, and it was so busy that she just decided to clock in early and help us out because we were understaffed and over busy.
Yeah.
And people were not happy about the fact that their food was taking so long. And it's like, you know what, get on behind the counter and help us then. Like,
Throw on an apron.
yeah. But after that, it really, really slowed down on Sunday, and it's just been consistently pretty slow the entire week.
Mm-hmm.
From last summer, I don't remember it being like extremely slow. I remember thinking and being told that, like, oh, it gets super dead, and we were pretty busy from what I remember. But in the past week, it's been extraordinarily slow, just very boring. And when you're sitting, when you're put in the hole, which is where you take orders and money,
Mm-hmm.
it is, boy, is it fucking boring, because nobody's around you. You can't talk to anybody,
Yeah.
and you're just standing in one place for hours on end.
Mm-hmm.
And boy, is that fun. But yeah, it was especially fun on Wednesday after the Black Country New Road concert that
Mm-hmm.
we can talk about. But
Foreshadowing.
yes, but
Mm-hmm.
my legs were still achy.
Yeah.
Uh, and I was put in the hole, and I was just standing in one place for hours on end, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
ooh, this does not feel good.
Yeah.
Um, and but other than that, it's just been very slow, very boring. But other than that, this week just been playing Marvel Rivals. I bought Unpacking, which is
Mm-hmm.
a game that's it's fairly popular, was popular, but it's just a game where you go through the life of somebody and unpack certain rooms and houses and things throughout the person's life, and it's just a nice, relaxing game.
Yeah.
Um, had a good time doing that. We're listening to some modern baseball and some podcasts and such. But other than all that, the only real bit of excitement for me this week has been the Black Country New Road concert.
Yes.
I'm not sure if you want to put aside a moment for us to talk about that in detail, but
Yeah, I
um,
think that makes the most sense.
yeah,
Yeah.
but just that was fun and I had a good time. But we'll talk about it more in a little while. Um, but just looking forward to this weekend. Leaving a little later to come up to home
Mm-hmm.
for the weekend for my birthday and my brother's
Wow.
graduation.
The weekend's coming to your birthday?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
It's through the silver screen now because
Oh, of
I'm gonna go
course.
see Hurry Up Tomorrow. Uh,
With Abel Tesfaye and Jenna Ortega.
yes,
And Barry
of which I've seen
Keeg
amazing Kogan
Kogan.
Keegan,
I don't know how to say his last name.
Irish.
Irish.
Um,
The Irish guy.
the one that cheated on Sabrina Carpenter allegedly. Um,
I
uh,
saw a letterbox review saying this movie has two people who kiss Sabrina Carpenter in a music video or something like that. It's
yeah,
kind of funny, but
that is funny. Um, Heard great things about that movie though.
oh yeah.
0% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh.
But excited to come up for the weekend, spend some time with the fam, celebrate graduation, their birthday, and such.
Hmm.
It's gonna be a nice, relaxing weekend. But
Yeah.
till then, I'll talk about that next week. But how was your week, Mike?
Week was, oh, excuse me, unexpectedly eventful. This week, so that was good, I guess. But you know, started off last week. Watched a couple new Marvel movies with my mom.
Mm-hmm.
The next one that was in the list was Spider-Man: Homecoming, which is one that I was interested in seeing just because I've heard a lot of people talk so positively about this new Spider-Man trilogy in the MCU, and I didn't necessarily love a lot of the Spider-Man stuff that was included in Civil War, just because of how, I guess some of the writing maybe and how it was like paced or something. It was a little just strange, but I actually really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was really fucking good. Like I don't know. I think just the way they wrote Spider-Man in here, and then also just like all the action and the uh, that kind of stuff like looked really great. And I thought the villain was actually pretty good too. I liked how it felt personal towards the end. You know what I mean? Um, I don't know. I thought it was written very well and just very enjoyable to watch, and it was funny too. For me, like for some reason, that was like one of the Marvel movies that's probably made me laugh the most for some reason. Um, it just I don't know. It struck a chord with me, um, and it was good. I liked it a lot. Um,
Glad to hear.
hmm And then after that, we watched Thor Ragnarok. I think the next
Another
day,
banger.
and I also didn't really like it that much.
What?
I mean, I liked it better than the other Thor movies, but I don't know. Maybe it was the Taika Waititi humor that just wasn't really doing much for me. Um, I did enjoy the effects, I guess. Actually, sometimes the green screens look pretty bad in the movie, honestly, and Hulk was auto-tuned, which was strange. I'm not sure if. Do you know what I'm talking about? The effect that was on his voice?
I think so. It's been a while since I watched it, but I think I know what you're
Yeah,
talking about.
I like looked it up and like I guess whoever was doing the Hulk voice before had passed away, maybe, or either that or they just decided that was the first time that Mark Ruffalo was doing the Hulk voice, and for some reason there's like auto tune on it every single time, and like it just I don't know that really distracted me. But
It's the first time Hulk really talked, I think, in the MCU. So
was it really?
yeah, because like in Age of Ultron and the Avengers, he just kind of yells. He doesn't really talk as Hulk, but in
Huh.
Ragnarok, he gets a little smarter.
Okay, maybe that's it. I guess I never noticed that since I'm watching them out of order. But Well, I watched some out of order, I should say. But yeah, I don't know. I thought it was fine. It just wasn't really my cup of tea. But you know, the best Thor movie, I guess. um, um, but then we also got some food a couple times too. We got some Polish food on like Saturday or something like that. Um, at a little restaurant around here, which is good. I got like a beef stroganoff, which I guess is Polish. I don't know.
Bring
But
on my beef till I'm off.
exactly. um, um, but that was very good. And I had some pierogies there as well. That were also very good. And then we got some Mexican food on Sunday for Mother's Day at a place my mom likes a lot. So we did that, and I got I tried quesadilla for the first time.
Ooh.
Um, and that was actually very good. I enjoyed that quite a bit. Um, yeah, that was one of those things that like I see advertised all the time, and I'm like, you know what, I'm going for it, and it was good. Um, but yeah, other than that though, went to the Black Country New Road concert, which we will talk about. Um, and I did continue the job stuff as I had been doing, and got an offer and orientation thing for a job that maybe I'll describe more once I know more what I'm doing. But yeah, woo. Um, I think I went to an orientation yesterday, and it was the vibe was fine, but I did find it a little interesting the hiring process. Like they made us watch like this boring ass 60 slideshow thing with this guy just doing monotone as hell voiceover over top of it. And then we had to take a test afterwards, but they just gave us all the answers. Um, it was like, okay. That was a little strange. And then, but you know, it's I can say it's like a warehouse position, and it's it'll be a 40-hour uh, shift. Well, not shift, a 40-hour work week. Be working like 3 to 11 ish. So we'll have to figure out exactly what we want to do with Pod.
Mhm.
But yeah, yeah. No, I mean, I think it'll seem fine for the time being. It'll definitely be a decent bit of money. But I just wish the job was a little more, I guess, communicative on some things. Like one thing is the lady who was given the orientation, you could tell she probably does this like every single day. And she rushed through a lot of things and said things just kind of, I don't want to say whenever, but like at the
Mhm.
very end I was towards the back of the group and she said something about when we had to show up next, and I'm almost 100% positive she said that like wait for an email, and then they'll tell you your start date. But she also mentioned something earlier about the starting could even be that night for some people, or it could be tomorrow, aka today. Um, but I have not received any email or anything, so I am a little uh, nervioso, as they say.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I think I might try to see if there's somewhere I can call after the pod, just to confirm that I'm not supposed to be there today, because I have not received any email. Um, but yeah, other than that, well, I mean, there was also some weird like hiring things too. I had to fill out so much strange online paperwork for uh the place, to the point where
Mm.
actually like when I first was hiring with them, like it felt a little sketchy. Like I had just done an application and I haven't gone in for anything, and like they were asking for like socials and or social security number and like a bank account info already, and I was like, I don't know you. Is this legitimate? Is this a real thing? Um, and but I can confirm that it is a real place, and I was hired through a real system. So, um, Oh, but yeah, there was a bunch of weird paperwork though. Like I filled out an I-9, which I'm not even entirely sure what that is, but I filled
Mm.
it out yesterday, and like they required that someone else check that the information I put into the I-9 was correct, which mostly was just, is this an actual picture of my passport? So
Okay.
I had to have my dad do that on his phone, and like I don't know, it was so weird. I was really close to just doing it on my phone, but I was like, I probably shouldn't, just in case, I guess. Um, but yeah, that, other than some like strange, weird stuff like that, it is a legitimate company, so I think I'm okay.
That's
But
good. Yeah.
yeah, that's the whole warehouse they built is just a ploy. Um, hired actors for this scam. Um, but yeah, so we'll see with that. But once again, I wish they were a little more communicative, because if they were, and I knew when I was coming in, we could have had an in-person pod this week. But they took it from us. Um,
I did it.
no, but yeah, it was a little much to risk, and we're recording at 11 a.m. Which is probably why I sounded half asleep when we first started the recording, but I'm feeling a little bit better.
Hell
And
yeah.
um, yeah, I think that's pretty much it
Yeah.
for me, other than listening to modern baseball and Black Country New Road. Um,
Mm-hmm.
um, but yeah, I don't know what order you want to go. Do you want to talk about the Black Country Road, I guess, since we're still talking about weeks and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
on what day was that? Was that Wednesday?
Tuesday.
On Tuesday. That was Tuesday, that's right.
Sure
Um
was.
on Tuesday we took a little trip up to Chicago. Colin did a lot of driving that day.
Oh boy, I
He
did.
Yeah, we have been taking turns with our shows in Chicago, and this time I think you did it once before for something else too, but you came all the way up from where you're at currently, um, to my house, and then to Chicago, and then
Yeah.
back to my
I
house, and
think it's
then
for
back to your
Live
place.
Mind
Yeah.
last time.
Didn't I drive to maybe you drove to Hive Mind. I don't remember.
Pretty
Um,
sure I did, and then you drove to Total Pilots.
okay. Yeah, that makes sense. But yes, we did that, and thank you again for all that driving.
Mhm,
But
mhm. And can I just say,
mhm.
the worst fucking city traffic I've ever been in.
Oh yeah, there was
Holy
some
shit.
really weird uh spots in there. I mean, we got very close to a bus, or the bus got very close to us, I should say.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, he seemed like he knew what he was doing, but we didn't, and so that was a little frightful for us. Um,
Yes. Yeah. Usually the trip is an hour, maybe a little less if the traffic is light.
yeah.
Um,
Oh,
and
sorry.
then when I put in the directions on for the parking garage on Google Maps, it was like an hour and 45 minutes or something for that trip, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that's lovely.
Well,
And we didn't really hit traffic until we were like 20 minutes outside the city
yeah,
or
like
so.
big traffic. Yeah.
Yeah, and then that traffic took the vast majority of the time there. I think it was like 10, it said like 10 miles till the destination, and it was like 50 minutes.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God. And we were stuck at one light in particular, like a couple minutes before hitting the parking
Mm.
garage.
Yeah, it was like
That,
literally the street over.
yeah, and that was like 20 minutes.
Hmm.
It was the worst city traffic I've
And
ever been with.
that's also where the bus was too.
Yes. Yeah, we've been to concerts on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and the traffic's never been that bad.
Yeah.
We've been pretty unscathed with how we are able to get to the spots and just be able to be there when we are supposed to be there. And luckily we plan ahead and we leave earlier
Right.
than people might. But um, goddamn, that was awful.
Yeah, that was pretty stressful. I think, yeah, that definitely the most stressful Chicago driving you've done. I mean, that may even top what I had done thus far. Once again, I'm getting the shows mixed up at this point, but there was one time when we went to like the north of Chicago and it took us like through downtown. I remember that was probably
Yeah,
the scariest for me just because I had to make a lot of Chicago merges. But yeah,
that was nothing but thieves, and there were some
right.
like weird, very they have those like tight turns in Chicago that you can
Mm,
just go. It's like turn right, and it's like you're turning almost completely around into the
yeah,
U-turn
yeah,
onto another street, and Mike had a couple of those on that trip, and
yep.
that was exciting.
I think that might have been the same trip where when driving home there was a bus who took a turn like that, but my car was, even though I was like perfectly in the lane and stuff like that, I had to like back up so I didn't get hit by the turning bus. I
Right.
was just like, okay, I hope. Thankfully there was no one behind me. um, but anyways, yeah, the drive was fun. But we arrived and we were right next to Goose Island. We went on a nice little um, a bridge, like a walk, to get to the salt shed from the parking garage, and we went over a bridge that overlooked Goose Island, and yeah, we Colin reminded me that we kind of, I think the reason both of us even know what Goose Island is because our friend Vanessa for some reason knew what Goose Island was when doing GeoGuessr once, and she was streaming to us.
Yeah.
And uh, yeah, that's how I remembered it too. I was like, "What the? Why do you know Goose Island?" But hey,
Yeah.
full circle, I guess.
Yeah. Seriously.
Mhm. But yeah, we walked there. Saw a little line outside the salt shed. We're like, okay, let's go get some food. There's a little pub thing right next to the venue that we went to. I believe it was a Goose Island brewery. Holy shit, that word's hard.
It's a
Brewery.
hard word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, um, but yeah, we went there. It was a pretty cool building. Um,
Yeah.
and got some stuff. Colin, what did you get? It was like a chicken sandwich.
It was like a lot of stuff on the menu was like Asian inspired from
Yeah.
what I was reading. There was like you could get chicken wings, and it was like the two options were like buffalo and General So's, and then there was a chicken sandwich on there that I got that was like um it was like Korean inspired, so it had like gochujang and kimchi
Mm.
and some other stuff on it, and it was good, but it was drippy, very drippy.
It was drippy. Yeah, it was drippy.
Drippy.
Um, um, and then for me, I got what I'm pretty sure on the page said pierogies and beets or something like
Mhm.
that. Um, and I had never had beets before, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll try them. And I remember when I was reading the description, it sounded like it was going to be pierogies with the side of beets, and it was quite the opposite. It was a plate, the whole center filled with beets, and on the sides were three pierogies,
Mhm.
normal size pierogi, not huge or anything. Um, and I was like, well, I guess I'm trying beets, and I did, and they were fine, I guess. Like I it was definitely different than I thought. It's like some weird amalgamation of fruity but also like earthy. And it's
Mm.
just kind of an interesting taste. And on their own, I was like, I don't know how I feel about this, but there was like some sort of like goat cheese spread that was underneath.
Mm.
Excuse me, that was underneath the beets, um, and that like because that goat cheese has like a bit of a bitter kind of taste, and for some reason the sweetness of the beets and the bitterness of the cheese worked decently well together, and I did kind of enjoy it more that way. um but I didn't end up finishing all those beets because I was like, that's a lot of beets at one time. This is my first time having beets, but I think that's too much beets at one time. But it was fine, but I was being adventurous. It's kind of the risk and reward of that. And the pierogies were good for those three bites. And um,
Yeah, it was actually insane how few pierogies there were for the amount of
yeah,
beats. Um,
yeah.
Mike was generous enough for me to let me try one of his 100 beats, and yeah, it was all right. But a whole plate of them, I wasn't. I wouldn't have been too crazy about, to
Yeah,
be honest.
yeah. I mean, yeah. If it was like literally $1 more, I might have been more upset about it. But it was like one of the cheaper things. I think it was $15 altogether, and I'm like, it's that's pushing it, but it's yeah. I don't know. But yes, 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 yes. But anyways, we got back in to line, um, and stood outside in an alleyway for a bit, and then I don't think there's much to say out there. But
No.
yeah, and then went into the salt shed. I was very curious about the venue, as was my dad, just because this place, believe it or not, used to be a shed where they stored salt. And but they transformed it into a music venue. Um, and like kind of its own little like area down there too, because there's like a little record store in there as well, and like a pizza place. Actually, that's the same place. But then there's a THC place or something there too. But Yeah, yeah. Inside the actual building, though, I thought it was laid out well. It was a bigger venue than I thought it was going to be. It spanned back for quite a bit. Kind of, I told Colin it kind of almost felt like a giant church or something, like a giant.
Okay.
It had religious lighting or something in there too. um, but it was cool though. I liked the venue. I would go back there again pretty
Yeah,
happily. Um,
the air conditioning was working pretty well too. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
for
It wasn't like a super hot concert or anything. And Yeah, I mean, I guess we can jump into the acts and stuff.
Mhm.
Up first was a little folk duo by the names of Nora Brown and Stephanie Coleman. And
Yeah.
it was honestly, I thought it was a really nice performance. It was just, I mean, for a venue that was kind of big. I mean, we were up pretty close in the GA. So like in some ways, it almost didn't feel like a big venue, but then I remembered it was. Um, but It was just it was just the two of them up there. One of them playing guitar and one of them playing fiddle, violin fiddle. And singing up there, doing folky type songs with some nice harmonies and nice vocals. And I don't know, it felt very homey to me. I really enjoyed
Yeah.
their chemistry together as well. And it felt very authentic and genuine, I guess. And people in the audience were very for the most part, were pretty respectful about just the sound in general and being quiet when it was quiet again for the most part. Um, um, but yeah, I mean, I guess what do you think of them?
I thought they were cool. Yeah, like you said, it felt very like homey. Very, I like the folk sound. So it was just, it was nice and just calm.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and it was just a nice time. And like you said, it was the venue got quiet enough to really enjoy the vibes of that they were laying out. They said many times that like they don't play venues like this. It's usually just like small little things where people are seated and just listening to folk music.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but there were times where the tempo would pick up and the clapping would start, and just like she's Stephanie Coleman was just going hard on that viola, fiddling away.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it was just a nice vibe. Uh, Nora Brown had a nice voice, and yeah, it's just like it feels like something out of uh, out of like a period piece movie. Um, it was just I don't know, it was very calming, very nice. The only the only part that annoyed me were some people to our right that were just like yelling for a good bit of it. Not like during the songs for the most part, but like
Mm-hmm.
between, they were just like yelling about LinkedIn and shit. And I'm like, what the? Oh my god. And just
Yeah.
like yelling about being from Raleigh, North
Yeah,
Carolina.
like
Uh,
you were kind of talking about it, but like they think they were roommates. I can remember making the joke they were
yeah,
roommates. Um, and like I get like maybe the initial excitement of being loud about that, but they continued to be loud,
yeah,
just like screaming when talking to each other. It's like why? The
yeah.
entire front row of the venue does not need to hear this.
No, no, but it was a nice vibe. I liked the first act. Um,
Yeah.
and then we got into the second opener, which a band I've talked about a few times
Mm.
on the pod. Freako, a couple of freaks
Hmm.
got on stage. The only act of the night without a violin, which
Hmm. That was, yeah. You whispered that to me beforehand. It was pretty funny.
but I've talked about how I like that album quite a bit. Where we've been, where we go from here. The album came out last year.
Mm.
Um, and I really like that album. Listened to it one more time on the way to grab Mike from his house, and still great, still great indie rock vibes.
Yeah.
And they put on a hell of a show. They were rocking out. The lead singer, his voice is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
He got really up there in the octaves. And it was cool to see just even the people in the band reacting, like the two people
Mm.
that aren't, I don't think, officially a part of the band, uh were like, you're just playing bass and support on another guitar.
Mm.
He the singer would hit those high notes, and they would just kind of look at him and go, ooh,
Yeah. Even they would be
nice.
like impressed by it. Yeah.
And yeah, it was genuinely impressive. They put on a great show. They played some awesome tunes, some ones that I'd never heard before,
Mm.
but some really good ones off the record as well. The ones I've had for Song of the Week, Where We've Been, and Crimson to Chrome. Um, and then a really good one that I was surprised that I hadn't highlighted on the pod before, but For Ella was really sweet
Mm.
and very a nice slow point for their set. They did a great job, and it was like really energetic and fun, and a nice way to kind of start the show before Black Country New Road got on.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I don't have too much to add, but I'm also realizing in the moment that I have not talked about the albums I listened to this week, but I'll get to that after this. But I did listen to the Freako record after failing to
Mhm.
do so for over a year, and I did enjoy that quite a bit, and I think I said it maybe a total of 15 times that night. But I did enjoy his voice quite a bit on the studio record, and I thought it was great. But like it was much better live than I expected it to be. Like I didn't expect him
Mhm.
to be bad or anything, but like I wasn't expecting him to like literally sound like almost like virtuoso up there with some of the ways he was hitting those high notes. Like it was genuinely very impressive. Um, and yeah, no, I mean, shout out to Freako. That honestly, I would probably even go to a whole show just for them. They were pretty cool. I liked their vibe, like the cut of their jib. Um, and yeah, I guess from there, Black Country New Road went on, and they did very good. I enjoyed their performance quite a bit. One of the things I don't remember if you mentioned this on pod. I think you did. Um, but you said before going in that you were excited to like hear like a band with like such like a a live presence to them with like things like the saxophones and like the violins and stuff like that. And I think that's like one of the best things that they deliver in a performance like that because it I don't know it gets very dynamic and I think the crowd did very well with that stuff too. So like Besties was the opening song and it felt like everyone was like singing along to that and it felt appropriate. But then like for moments like Nancy or the early parts of For the Cold Country and stuff like that, people were listening for the most part, maybe like singing to themselves a little bit, but you could hear everything, and it was mixed very well, and I think they gave a spotlight to all their members very well too. It was just really, it was really fun to see, and really great seeing just group chemistry and performance like that up on a stage. Um, yeah.
Yeah. The only one that didn't like really get highlighted was the dude next on the left side of the drummer who was playing guitar back there.
Oh yeah, Luke. Yeah.
Um, yeah, he was just kind of vibing back there for
Yeah.
most of the show.
He
But
he
you know,
he strikes me as a little bit of a shyer member of them.
yeah, that's what it seemed like. But
Yeah.
all of them did a fantastic job. All three
Hmm.
women in the group. I forget all of their names. One of them's May, I
Hmm.
think.
May's the pianist. Tyler's the bassist who was center stage. And then Georgia on vocals and uh, violin. The two
Okay.
V's. Mm.
Yes. But they all did a great job.
Hmm.
The Charlie's drummer was going absolutely fucking
Yeah.
hard the entire show. He was going at it, and they were all dressed in kind of like dressy up kind of clothes for the most part.
Mm.
Charlie was in like a dress shirt and a tie, and I was like, God, how do people go on stage and that stuff and
Yeah.
perform like that under the lights?
Yeah.
Um,
Especially a drummer. Very
yeah.
physical.
But they all did fantastic. The sax sounded great. The one front and center, she
Hmm.
was playing bass a lot of the show, and she took a bow for like violins and
Hmm.
cellos and things, and was just playing the bass with that, and it was fucking sick.
Hmm.
Added a um, really cool atmosphere and vibe to the whole thing. Um, but yeah, it was like one of the most unique shows I've ever been to because, like you said, it was like most of the time people weren't singing. It was like it was just taking it in, enjoying the show,
Hmm.
and just like experiencing the music for what it is without a real crowd aspect for most of it. And it was so just like it was kind of peaceful in a way.
Hmm.
Um, but it was just it was really well done. They played some bangers. Two Horses, Nancy
Hmm.
tries to take the night, and Turbine's Pigs were my highlights of their set. Um, but yeah, it was really really cool to see them up there, and I would love to see them again at some point. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, it was my legs and back were surely aching though. I will say
Yeah.
I will say that uh, because while other shows it's like oh especially 21 Pilots you like get up and you kind of like dance and move around and jump.
Hmm.
For Black Country New Road, it was just standing in one place and kind of just experiencing it for a
Yeah.
while, and without that kind of movement to take away from the pain of standing and everything, it kind of just like you really realize how much your legs and back hurt more.
Yeah.
um
Yeah.
and it was still great, and I still really loved it, but maybe a seated section for them next time, maybe not at the Salt
Yeah.
Shed
Not
because
that. Yeah. The seating was really strange there.
but if they would ever did like a concert hall experience, like
Mm.
that'd be a nice time, I think.
I know. I think. Yeah. Yeah. Leve did that for a bit. Like she would play in more
Mhm.
concert hall type stuff instead of venues. So people could sit and because I think well, it seems to be changing a little bit, but that was a lot of her concert etiquette for a while too. Was just people would listen and sing under their breath to stuff for the Leve tracks,
Mhm.
but um, yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
and then one other thing that needs to be mentioned from the show,
Oh, yes.
they brought out. Well, Charlie was doing an awkward little introduction, um, and he was like, "Well, we have a special guest from Chicago here." Um, and I don't even think I heard his name in the moment, but
Yeah.
after Charlie mentioned like yo-yo performance or something, the crowd started going nuts. But the guys they brought out a guy. His name is Jack Hudspeth, um,
Mm.
and he does yo-yo stuff on like TikTok and social media in general. and they had him at the front of the stage. And for their song "The Big Spin," he just did an entire like sick ass yo-yo performance. And like
Yeah.
it right at the front, and like it was like I love the band, and I think they did a great job. But that was low key like the highlight of the night. Like it was, it just like worked so well. He played to or played, but he performed to the Big Spin, which it just works so well. Like that's not
Yeah.
even really like my favorite song of Forever How Long, but like it was the perfect choice. And I don't know, there were so many like hits in there that he was doing well. He was hitting
Yeah.
that shit, and yeah, he got like it was so wholesome. He got such like a huge round of applause after
Oh yeah.
that. Um, yeah.
It was genuinely fucking impressive what he was
Oh
doing with
yeah.
the yo-yo. Like there were so many tricks where it was like, how does one do that with a fucking string?
Yeah.
Uh, and it was crazy. And honestly, the ovation was like one of the loudest I've heard at a concert. I feel,
Yeah.
because like after he was done and after they were just kind of after they were done with the song and after he was done with his performance, everyone was just going fucking insane. It
Yeah.
was everyone was like yelling and clapping and screaming, and it was just everyone in the band was just like clapping for him and everything. It
Hmm.
was just like it was a very wholesome experience on
Yeah.
top of everything. But it was really genuinely cool and a big surprise.
Yeah. Well, I think that's part of the reason why it was so like awesome is because you well one you don't expect uh yo-yo performance at a show, but like
Right.
the fact that it fit so well and like it was just like I don't know, it was done so well and like like you were saying before, like it's kind of the type of concert where you kind of take it in. You don't necessarily like people were clapping after their songs, of course, but like having that level of I guess just excitement for the audience, like it like heightened it even more for a moment like that. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, it was fucking awesome. He did so good, and I'm happy for him that he was able to get a moment like that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
Uh, it was the show in general, though. It was the latest starting main
yeah,
act for a concert, though. It was they started. Black Country Road didn't start till 10,
hmm,
and then they didn't finish until like 11:30 or so. Um, but it was cool, but
yeah.
a little late for me, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, and then yeah, you said that when we were there too, and I was trying to remember exactly when Marusha started when I saw them earlier this year, but they started pretty late, but that was also like a bar gig type thing, so
Right.
yeah, different vibes,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah. Great show though. Would
yeah,
definitely see them again.
absolutely, yeah, yeah, that was fun as hell. Yeah, and then I guess just
What would you listen
hmm,
to?
what were you saying?
What did you listen to
Oh yeah, yeah,
this
yeah,
week?
yeah. Let me just briefly what I listened to. Where am I? Okay, yeah, I listened to well, aside from modern baseball, I listened to two things. One of them being "Where We've Been, Where We Go From Here" by Frico.
Yeah.
I did listen to it prior to the concert, just once, but like I genuinely, I really did like the album quite a bit. Turns out, you know, Colin advertising it for a year wasn't for nothing. Um, he meant it. But yeah, no, yeah, no, there's a lot of great stuff on there, and I really like his voice, and I like how the production is for a lot of it too. I still have only given it the one listen besides seeing it live. But I will return to it when I'm a little less busy, and I will continue to enjoy it and have more strong feelings, I guess, by the end of the month. Um, and then the other thing I listened to was I'm not sure if you heard, but Andre 3000 released a little EP. It was
Oh,
called Seven Piano Sketches, and it was a little bit of an infamous release. I was not hearing great things before going into it, um,
no.
and I went into it and I liked it even less than a lot of people did.
Oh.
Mainly, like it's just a short little EP, and yeah, it is seven piano sketches, but this is kind of like
Mm,
the equivalent of like let's say Phoebe Bridgers released an EP and all the songs were her just like kind of like mumbling through a melody over a guitar that she recorded on her phone. Um, that's basically the equivalent of this EP. But you know, it has the genre tags of like minimalism, impressionism, and stuff like that. So therefore, people are, you know, seeing it as something more. But like it just sounds like him dicking around on a piano for the duration of those 7 piano sketches, which, like in one breath is cool. Like he's enjoying this instrument and wants to share with people that he's enjoying it, but like it has like almost no effort put into it, like at all.
Oh,
It's just like I have a million voice notes that sound exactly like this of me playing with like ideas on a piano, but I don't post them as an EP online and get hundreds of millions of streams because of that. Like, it's
right.
yeah, I did not like that. um, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, it's not like bad, but it's just like incredibly lazy. It's like, why is that even released? It's the level of effort that Kanye is putting into his shit nowadays.
Ugh.
Without the Nazism, of course. But um, he's putting a lot of effort into that. But
Yeah, it sure is.
but yeah, that's what I listened to this week and modern baseball. But
Nice.
yes. Uh,
Well,
couple tracks came out this week too. Um, Leve released that song that I was talking about last week, called "Tough Luck," and also announced an album called "A Matter of Time" coming out August 22nd. Um, and did you listen to "Tough Luck"?
I did.
What'd you think of it?
I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. Hearing the clip of it, I thought that's. I think the ending part where she kind of gets into that kind of faster, the
Yeah,
it was entertaining and I liked it quite a bit. I don't know if I like it more than Silver Lining. That might be a little equal in my mind at the moment, but yeah, I liked it. I think it's cool.
yeah. I had a similar reaction. The clip did feel a little strange, just being out of context of the rest of the song. It felt worse than it actually was. um, I think just kind of, I don't know. It does work in the song, and I like, even though like the song is a little more pop girly, like I was talking about last week, a little bit more for Leve. It still has like some beautiful string parts in
Mhm.
the first part, and her vocals are pretty good throughout too. And the production, I would actually say, is pretty like amazing throughout. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of really good pop production in there that mixes well with her sound. Even though I might not be like huge on this direction, I still think it's done well, and I think she's, doing great with the sound. And it yeah, I like it. I think it's fine. I was worried for it, but I think it's fine. It's good. um, um, and then we also got
Yeah.
a new track from Little Sims called "Young." Did you listen to this?
No, I didn't realize it came out.
Yeah, well, it's just a track. Eh, I kind of didn't. I didn't really like it. It's
Uh-oh.
I definitely need to give it a few more listens, but it's it's like a weird. Like it's definitely like a tongue in cheek type track. Like it's her
Mhm.
having fun on a type of song, but I don't think it sounds very good. And I don't know. Maybe I'll enjoy it more on another listen or something. But yeah, was not huge on that. Um, but yeah, and then King Gizzard also had a track release that I listened to and enjoyed quite a bit. I forgot to write it down though. It's called "Grow Wings and Fly," and they're continuing to sound great for this album, and I'm very much looking forward to it. Yeah,
Cool.
yeah,
I did. Yeah, I didn't hear either of those, but I'll check them out afterwards.
yeah.
Um, the only music news that I really have written down was Leve, and then Blurry Face turns 10
Yes, it
uh,
does.
tomorrow. May 17th, my birthday, and
Mm-hmm.
that's fucking insane. Uh, 10 years of Blurry Face.
Yeah.
They released some new merch for Hot Topic. That I kind of like. It's got like it shows Nico on it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's Blurry Face 10. It's BLX. And then Clancy World Tour came to an end the
Mm-hmm.
other day, and they've they're doing some lore, and
Mm-hmm.
seems like Clancy might be dead. But
No,
uh,
Skilled and Icy.
Clancy, yeah, they've been kind of teasing some stuff in the lore when it comes to there's a part in the show where Torchbearer Josh he brings Clancy his jacket after their B stage performances. They take it, they walk to the stage, and then Demon's revealed,
Mm-hmm.
and they've been kind of teasing it where Clancy's kind of just been not wanting to pick up the jacket, kind of not really seeing it, and Torchbearer's had to kind of like raise it into his field of view for him to really take it. And then at the last show, he just flat out refused it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Walked to the stage. He was covering his eyes with the stole as he walked to the stage, and yeah, and then Torchbearer just walked to the stage with the jacket in hand, and he was just all alone by himself.
Mm-hmm.
Some parallels to the Navigating music video with Clancy not
Right.
being there and Torchbearer being alone. Uh, it's either they still have yet to wrap up the story. Clancy doesn't turn one until next week, so
Mm-hmm.
um, we'll see if they do anything. They release some sort of stuff, but for now, kind of seeming like it's the worst of the case for Clancy.
Yeah.
Um,
I would just like to say I think this is the third separate time that Clancy has been hypothesized to be dead.
yes, that's true.
I do distinctly remember when all the trench like the Dima stuff was originally being uploaded, and like there was all these letters from Clancy. I remember there was that image of Tyler in the river that or I guess Clancy in the river from the jumpsuit music video that came out, but it was all like black and white and like low quality and stuff, and people were just like, oh, okay, so that's Clancy's dead body just in the water there.
Yeah,
I remember that all the way back in 2018. And yeah, but
yeah.
we'll
I mean,
see.
we'll see. One of the things when it comes to like the bishops and the storyline is that they can't see the Bandito colors being yellow and
Right.
green, and the fact that Clancy didn't take the jacket or couldn't see Torchbearer holding it up, people think that maybe he's succumbed to being succumbed to vialism, become a bishop with Nico and everything, so he can't see Torchbearer at all. Um, which
Mm-hmm.
like I said, we'll just have to see. But it's kind of exciting, kind of worrying, but
Yep.
yeah, cool lore stuff.
Cool lore stuff, and I can say now because it'll be out by the time the episode airs, but on with the blurry face turning the blurry face, Jesus Christ, I was gonna say the blurry face album and era, but okay, with blurry face turning 10 years old, I did work on a little thing earlier this year and had it in
What?
preparation. And so you can go on to my piano channel and you can find the Blurry Face medley, piano medley,
Oh my god!
uploaded on Colin's birthday.
Was that like 6 years in the making or something?
uh, I don't want to think about it. I think it is about six though. I think Vessel medley was 2019. Um,
Oh my fucking god!
Actually, no, it was 2018 because I was looking at the description of the vessel medley, and I was like, oh, kind of funny how by the time I'll be getting to the blurry face one, that Trench will be out because it was like a little bit before Trench came out that I released the vessel medley, like a few days or a week or so.
Holy shit.
So since I have
Uh,
released the Vessel medley, there have been 3 new albums.
Huh?
Yep.
yeah, that's fucking nuts. That's
Yeah.
awesome though. Very excited for that.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Did you
Yes.
did you paint your piano black again or?
I did not. I thought about it and I was like, I'm too old to be stressing about that shit now. There's a little bit of a thing that happens there. But
Oh,
I did kind of purposefully not focus on having a quote unquote gimmick for this one, just because like I knew if I did, the video was never gonna get fucking posted because I was gonna be too in my head about what the hell to do and get all the stuff right, and it would never be done in time and shit like that. So I was like, you know what? I have the medley. I'm gonna play it.
awesome,
I'm
man.
gonna
That's
play
awesome.
that piano. Yeah. So,
Playing a
um,
piano comeback.
mm-hmm.
Let's go.
I posted some videos for Clancy. But
One.
um, but yes. So you can go check out that if you are so inclined once this video is up. Um, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Um, other than that, though, I guess do you have anything else to highlight?
Uh, I mean, not really music wise.
News
Other
wise or
than
anything either. Oh
news
wait,
wise.
actually, sorry, wait. While we're on the topic of 21 Pilots, something we talked about in person, but probably should mention on here. Someone stole a drum from
Oh
21
yeah.
Pilots this week. If you've ever seen any clips of those shows, you might see that they do like drumming on top of the crowd at the
Yeah.
end with trees. And I don't even know how someone could, but they just kept the drum afterwards.
Yeah.
I don't know how that happened. But there was like a whole basically manhunt for this person the
Yeah.
day after, and they eventually got the drum back. And it was we were showing each other some pictures at the Black Country to Road concert because at the next show, when they did trees, they had like a fake gag where like the drums were chained to the floor.
That
Just
wasn't a gag. They had them chained to the fucking
it
ground.
kind of was because they didn't have that the next days. I think they do have like a little wire there or something now. But the
Oh,
chain
okay.
was comically big on purpose for a message, I guess. um,
Yeah.
um,
It was really funny
it
though.
was funny.
Somebody just like we were talking about it. We don't know how the fuck that person was able to just walk out of the venue with a
Yeah,
giant fucking drum, without anybody stopping them, and it obviously being a piece of uh equipment from the band.
yeah,
But yeah, the manhunt that went on with basically just fans looking for this drum and this person
right.
uh was pretty funny. Pretty funny.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that was a moment for
Mm-hmm.
sure.
Yeah, yeah. I felt like that should be talked about.
But other news wise, I don't really have too much. There were for this fifth episode of The Last of Us came out.
Oh yes.
And that was great. I really enjoyed that one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, I don't know if you want to talk about it too much, but
Um.
some cool stuff in the game.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess I'll just say that I did like the episode. I felt, and I still kind of do feel when I look back on it that like a lot of it was really rushed for this episode in particular. Like this episode in particular felt like it could have been 2 episodes worth of content, or at least just 30 minutes extra or something like that. But I thought it was fine. It wasn't really not my favorite episode of the season. But like I do think the big moments in it are very good, and the visuals are incredible throughout the whole
Oh
thing.
yeah.
Like the whole forest with the Seraphites is like chef's kiss, so fucking good.
Mm.
And then that last scene as well, I think was done very well. I think Bella did a great performance there, and yeah, yeah. Aside from a couple little writing things at the end there, that I'm like, uh, you're just saying it to our face. Other than those types of things,
Yeah.
I did enjoy the episode. I think it's good.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm very excited for this week's episode. Gonna be pretty cool flashback episode.
Yeah.
Written and directed by Neil Druckmann. But yeah, I like the episode. I do think that some of it was a little rushed, but the visuals really kept me going throughout the episode. There were a lot of cool things
Yeah.
within that one, and of course the acting. Bella and Isabella are
Mm-hmm.
both fantastic. But very
Yes.
very much looking forward to the next episode, and then seeing how this season ramps up in the last one. But
Yeah.
yeah. Well, now that we're about an hour in,
Mm-hmm. Just
uh,
about exactly.
yeah, this week's episode is an artist analysis,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a series that we've been doing for quite a while now, where we go spin a wheel full of artists, and we whatever it lands on, we listen to their entire discography, and then we go through the albums, talk about our thoughts and feelings, give our favorites and least favorites, and then give our overall thoughts. And this week, that wheel landed on another Midwest emo band
Mm-hmm.
that's pretty highly talked about within the Midwest emo enjoyers. Modern baseball.
Yeah.
Um, and like Mike said, neither of us had any experience with this band prior to the listenings of these records.
Mm-hmm.
So
I didn't
I
even
think I
I didn't even know like what they sounded like going into it.
mm,
Like I knew Midwest emo, but that was it.
I think I had heard "Tears for Beers," which is their
Mm-hmm.
"Tears Over Beers," which is their biggest song, just like through TikTok or something a while ago, but I never seeked it out or anything. I think this is a band that my younger brother enjoys or has
Mm-hmm.
enjoyed in the past, but never felt inclined to go check it out. But after listening to American football and enjoying those, I was interested to see what this other sports related band
Mm-hmm.
had for us. But yeah.
Yeah. And one other thing I wanted to add real quick is I kind of for some reason I expected them, with it being a popular Midwest emo band, I thought they would be like early 2000s ish, like kind of same time period as
Mm.
American football. I was very shocked to see like 2012 was their debut, and like they
Yeah.
did stuff up until 2016. Like I feel like maybe that was just like slightly before I was like into a lot of music discourse, so maybe that's why I completely missed them. But like I had no idea they were so I guess it's not really modern anymore, but you know what I mean. Like when we were growing up, like that's kind of
Yeah.
when they were popular.
Yeah.
But
Definitely more modern than when American football got their
exactly,
start. So,
yeah,
yeah, that kind of surprised me too. But yeah, they got 3 records starting in 2012, like Mike said. Do you want to start? Do you want me to start? What do you want to do?
uh, I can start if that's okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Um, all right. Well, yes. Modern baseball. We started in 2012 with sports, which is aptly named. But yeah, jumping into this blindly, I really didn't know what to expect besides Midwest emo, like I was talking about before. I feel like there's a lot of variation to be found within that term alone. And after listening to this record, this is definitely the most emo iteration of Midwest emo that I've heard so far. Um, the lead singer's vocal inflection threw me off a little bit at first, but while I did get a little used to him as a vocalist throughout, I'm just not really sure if I enjoyed his style in general. I never really found myself connecting with him as a singer or really as a lyricist that much either. There's definitely a bit of a young juvenile charm to be found on here, but it could also be held down by some of those same qualities. For instance, the cursing on here is a little cringe. Every time the lead singer says fuck, he feels like he needs to emphasize like fuck or whatever every single time. That was a bit distracting. But even if I was let down on some of the vocals, I did like the general instrumentation on it though. I thought the guitars are nice and well written, with some great variation throughout, and the drums were also pretty killer and a lot more full than I was expecting at points too. There's some good hooks and one-off lines throughout that I enjoyed, but just overall, it just wasn't all that super consistent for me. I'm not really sure if this is my style, but I will keep an open mind for the next couple of projects. And my favorites on here were I think you were in my profile picture once, Cook, and Tears Over Beers. And my least favorites were I don't know how to pronounce it. At Cloak. The song that starts with an at sign.
Yeah.
Play ball, redo, and lookouts. And overall, I gave it a strong 6.
All right. Well, yeah. Sports. 2012. I said, when you think about the bands that followed in the footsteps of American football, modern baseball is probably pretty up there for most people. I really enjoyed the sound of a lot of this debut. It's about what you'd expect from Midwest emo, the acoustic guitars, the strange vocal inflection, etc. But it all adds to the experience, and modern baseball made a pretty good and solid record to start off. The lyrics are all kind of in the same vein, caught up on past relationships, and growing up. Uh, would it be Midwest emo without those themes, though? I don't think so. The only true complaint that I have, I guess there's two, is that the songs kind of run together, and some tracks are just too short to really remember organic connection to.
Hmm.
Um, and that is a running theme. Uh,
Yes.
otherwise, otherwise, I think the energy, the lyrics, and the instrumentation are pretty solid. And it was a pretty okay project, pretty solid. Not too much to complain about. I like the vibes. But my favorites were Tears Over Beers, Redo, Cook, See a Sucker, and Redone. And my least favorites were Lookouts and at Chloe K or Cloak or
Yeah,
something.
that
I don't
one.
know. Uh, and I gave it a strong 7 overall.
Okay, cool.
And then we move on to 2014 with You're Gonna Miss It All. Said, I was surprised to see the difference in streams between the first and second albums, but upon listening, I get it. This record is better produced, feels more mature, but still keeps the signature feel that they created in their debut. The lyrics, again, are pretty much all within the same area as most Midwest emo that consumed at least. But like I said, it feels a little more mature in some aspects, and I think the production helps it, giving it that feeling. A lot of the record reminds me of the Front Bottoms, which is the band that
Hmm.
really got me into and introduced me to Midwest emo as a genre. So I appreciated that aspect. It was a lot more like upbeat, well, not upbeat, but like up tempo for a good portion. Uh, and I think I enjoyed this record more than the first. Not in an astronomical different way. Um, not super, not like, oh, that was a 7, this is a 10, but I enjoyed it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Uh, Still a lot to enjoy, and still just as solid, even a little more. But my favorites on this one were Rock Bottom, the old gospel choir, Timmy Bowers, Pothole, Charlie Black, and Fine Great. And my least favorites were Broken Cash Machine, and Going to Bed Now. And I gave it a light 8.
Cool. Yeah, You're Gonna Miss It All, 2014. After not being super wowed by the previous record, I did find myself appreciating more aspects of this one. The biggest change for me was the general instrumentation, songwriting, and production, like you were saying. A lot of these tracks have cool climactic points that were performed in a way that hooked me in, whether it was from like a really cool groove change or just an entirely new tempo. They played with a lot of that kind of stuff, and I'm a sucker for those things. I liked how dynamic it tended to be, and the varying genres that seemed to influence this record was also pretty cool. It felt more diverse than the debut. I'm still a little iffy on the lead singer, but I did think he did better on this one with some more interesting vocal performances, and I think he blended well with some of the instrumentation a little bit better. But I must say that the whole experience is a little back and forth on quality for me. In fact, I was not huge on a lot of the tracks that made up the middle portion of the album. Some of them had their moments, but I generally found them to be boring or even a little annoying at points. I like that they were playing with a lot of stuff, but some of the stuff they were playing with, I was like, okay, that's a country twang in Midwest emo going on here. Don't know how I feel about that. But I do think it really does kind of come down to this isn't for me. But like I was saying, the strong parts of the record are much stronger than the previous one. But I'm kind of in the same boat as you, where I like this one better, but it's not really an astronomical difference. But my favorites were Rock Bottom, Fine Great, The Good Things, and Timmy Bowers. And my least favorites were Notes, Going to Bed Now, The Old Gospel Choir, and Charlie Black. And overall, I gave it a light 7.
That's about
Cool.
right.
Yeah. All right. And then for their last album, Holy Ghost in 2016. This was, I mean, if you're familiar with the band, we kind of talked about it last week, but this is a very short artist analysis, both in terms of the album lengths and the amount of albums. All the albums are like right at the 30-minute mark. So, just to throw that out there. But yes, the final record, Holy Ghost from 2016. For their final one, Modern Baseball released an album that, to me, sounds like the quality of the previous two combined. Because while it has some more of the dynamic structures that they were exploring on the last album, unfortunately, some of the vocals and songwriting, for me, reverted back to their first project. Um, Honestly, at the end of the day, I'm kind of left with the same indifference I felt about the rest of their discography thus far. Like, yeah, there's some good hooks and good guitar riffs that pop up occasionally, but I just don't really find myself getting into these tracks for an entire song. I wasn't really annoyed at all this time, but there was a lot of in ear and out the other for me this time around. I think this band just isn't really my cup of tea, is what I put. And my favorites are Every Day, Hiding, Just Another Face, and Coding to These Lucans. And my least favorites were Mass, Note to Self, and What If. And overall, I gave it a strong 6.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, Holy Ghost. Truly wasn't expecting listens to go down after how much they jumped in the second.
Mm-hmm.
But after listening, I get it. Uh, there was something about this record that just did not connect to me like the other two did. The production is fine. The Midwest emo-ness of it all is still there and well done. But it's just kind of lost that oomph for me. A lot of the songs are too short to get into, and most of them run together in a way that, unless you're looking at the track list as the album is going, you're probably not going to realize that another song has started
Yeah.
until the album ends. I think it's fine. There isn't a song that I truly dislike, and there are a couple that I do genuinely enjoy. It just feels pretty weak after, especially the second record. Um, but yeah, I was playing Unpacking while I was listening to this record, and a couple minutes would pass, and I would be like 3 tracks later
Mm.
from where from the last time I had looked, and I was like, Jesus, I don't remember anything that just fucking
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
But there were still a couple good ones, and my favorites of those were Wedding Singer, Note to Self, Hiding, Just Another Face, and Every Day. My least favorites were Breathing in Stereo, Coding These to Lucans, and What If, and I gave it a light 6.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Some overall thoughts for this short little analysis. I said it in the last artist analysis, but Midwest emo is a genre that I love and connect to, and for the most part, I think Modern Baseball did a pretty good job. I won't say this discography is mind blowing, and there are other Midwest emo acts that I enjoy quite a bit more, but those first 2 records are genuinely good. I see why people hold them up as staples in the genre. It just fell off pretty harshly at the end for me. I wouldn't mind a new record from them at some point, especially in at the level of the second record. Um, but good instrumentals, good lyrics for the most part. It all just runs. All the songs from most of the records just run together a bit too much for me.
Hmm. Yeah. I said, I honestly don't have too much to say that I did not cover in my individual reviews. I guess I just want to stress that I do see the value in these guys' work. While it may not appeal to me, they certainly have a unique musical presence, and for sure have a personalized sound. And any successful band that achieves that is going to have some sort of passionate following. And I think they're deserving of that. It just isn't really a style that caters to me. And that's okay. I think it to me it sounds like one of those you had to be there type moments in some ways, and I wasn't there. So um but I still enjoy doing a completely blind artist analysis like this, though, even though if I wasn't huge on the band, and I would not be opposed to doing another one in a similar vein in the future, because I think it's fun just jumping into something blind like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, my ranking of the tracks was or tracks. My ranking of the albums was "You're Gonna Miss It All," "Holy Ghost," and "Sports." And overall, I gave it a strong 6.
And my ranking was You're Gonna Miss It All, Sports, and Holy Ghost, and I gave them a light 7 overall.
Cool. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
All of their albums to me were like 5 points apart at most. Like it
Yeah.
was it's a very consistent.
Very
Yeah.
consistent, some good stuff, some not so great stuff. Like I said, it all just
Right.
kind of runs together too much for me. But
Yeah.
definitely wouldn't be opposed to another blind one, but
Yeah.
definitely not at the same uh, level of Midwest emo that I enjoy that American football gave me and like early front bottoms had for me.
Yeah.
But I do see the love and admiration that they get, and I don't think they don't deserve it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I totally see the appeal. It's just not the appeal for me.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
yeah, cool. Well, that was modern baseball. Maybe the quickest artist analysis we've ever done.
Yeah,
um, but yeah, I guess unless you got anything else, we could probably jump into song of the week.
yeah, I'm cool with that if you are.
Okay, cool. Well, you are up this week, so
All right. Well, honestly, I didn't feel too strongly about any one particular song. Uh, but one of the more popular ones that I did enjoy quite a bit was Rock Bottom. So I'm going to go with Rock Bottom by Modern Baseball.
okay.
I wish that I could say no.
All right, that was Rock Bottom by Modern Baseball. What'd you think, Mike?
I did enjoy that one. That's actually one of the ones that I saved throughout this artist analysis. It was my favorite from that record too. I don't know. I think for some reason the youthful energy kind of works on that one. I think it's got some good riffs, some good quotables, I guess, in there too. And I don't know. It's just a generally pretty fun song that kind of, even though it's super short, it does feel a little complete, I guess. Like
Yeah.
it feels like a satisfying full listen, and that little tempo change at the beginning is sick as hell too. But yeah,
Yeah, it's just it's well made. The riffs on that one especially reminded me of some front bottoms stuff that
mm,
I really love. So that one was like, oh, cool, some inspiration maybe.
yeah,
Um, but I like that song. I like like you said, it feels more complete than a lot of other tracks that they have in their discography for me. But yeah, just a fun little good time with there.
yeah. And I also realized while listening to that that um, for some reason, I think it was mainly that tempo change and some of the guitar riff stuff, but
Mhm.
it reminded me a little bit of Lovejoy. shout,
Oh,
shout out Wilbur
shout out!
from what I was listening to some of them pre Wilbur Soot. Well, not you know what I mean.
Yeah,
But yeah. Um, for me though, I'm gonna go with another song on that album that I did remember enjoying quite a bit, and I'm gonna go with the opener. I'm gonna go with "Fine Great" by Modern Baseball.
All my fucking problems are based around the past. And I hate when you call me late.
All right, that was "Fine Great" by Modern Baseball. What do you think of that call?
good opener. I think that the instrumental on that one is one of the better ones of their discography. I don't have a ton to say about it. Feels like one of their songs. Just
Hmm.
is a good way to open the album.
Yeah, yeah, it's fine.
Mm.
Great way to open the album, one could even say. But yeah, no, I agree that I think the main reason I highlighted that one, I remember that one was because the instrumental was very nice on it. Like I think I don't love his vocal performance on there, but I do like some of the lines in there.
Yeah.
Like hate having to worry about the future when worrying about the past and shit like that. But yeah, I think the instrumental is nice on there. It's got a nice kind of summery vibe a little bit. Some
Mhm.
good rhythm changes, and I like how it gets bigger at the end there too. It's a cool song.
Yeah,
Yeah.
agreed.
But yeah, that's
Yeah.
the artist analysis.
That's modern baseball.
That's modern baseball. That's baseball.
And that's the game.
And that's the game. um, but yeah, I guess we can wrap up, and unless you got anything else, bless you, Max.
Yeah. Bless you, Max.
um,
What's up?
but bless up, Max. Um,
Mm.
um, but all right, yeah, cool. Well, if you're listening on streaming services, thank you. We appreciate you. I love you very much. Love you to death, one could even say. And yeah, you can come on over to YouTube where you can see our red profile pictures this week.
Oh, yeah.
I still got Lemo over here. And Colin's got Ellie.
Ellie.
That's the vibes. But yeah. Actually, wait, I have Lemo, but he's infected by cordyceps. So I mean, there's
Oh,
there's that.
no.
So and
Gotta
that's
take you out.
yeah, I was gonna say that's Ellie about to take out Lemo. That's so sad. He was cool as fuck. But yeah, you can come see that fiasco over on YouTube. We're under the same name, Broken Boys, capital N Bois. And over there you can also see our links to a whole bunch of stuff in the description. For instance, the song of the week playlists, that little segment that we just did. You can go in there and you can find a whole bunch of songs, but some of them being, Fine, Great by Modern Baseball or Rock Bottom by Modern Baseball. And we got 3 playlists down there. We got one for me, we got one for Colin, and one for both of us combined, along with our numerous guests that all resemble John. And and yeah, so go check out those. And then we also have some links to some personal stuff as well. For me, music, I make it sometimes, and have made music. Working on it. I know I said I have a date this week, but I also had a lot of things happen this week. So, but,
You'll get it when you get it.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And he won't throw a fit. And yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, the name's Plaintive. And it's on Apple Music, Spotify. Catch up on your lore. Before
Yes.
EP time. And yeah, down there I also have my YouTube page. Like I said, Blurry Face Medley, out now. Go check that out. Bangers. And
Look at Mike's supple hands for
my
15 minutes.
exactly. I think it actually is right about 15 minutes, man. It's like you've seen it already because it's already out. But yeah, and then I have a TikTok down there and my album of the year page where I rate and review music, and Instagram, and that's all I care about saying at the moment because I can't think of anything else. But yeah. Oh man. Relation to you, dear viewer. Uh, I don't know. It's a funny name for a place, so I'm on Goose Island behind you, dear viewer.
Let's go.
I'm just on the island amongst the geese, behind you. Actually, wait. You remember Home Alone 2, the bird lady? That's me.
Yeah.
But there's a bunch of geese all over me. Hell yeah, Chicago experience. And I have to sneeze now.
Bless you.
Oh my god, dude, I just got teased again.
Damn.
All right. I don't know why my body does that. Okay. I'm such a tease. Anyways, Colin over here, he runs our socials. He runs our Twitter page where he updates when videos are posted and updates on all things that need to be updated. And he also runs our Instagram page and our TikTok page where he posts little funny clips of us being silly little doofuses. So you should go check those out and give him some love and support. And Colin also has a couple personal things as well. He's got a Letterbox, where he rates and reviews movies. Did you watch any new movies this week? I don't think you said anything, but
I did not know.
you got to catch up on your Colin's Letterbox lore, though. And
Yes.
yes, as well as an album of the year page where he rates and reviews music. And Colin, what's your relation to our dear viewer this week?
Well, I mean, I'm also hanging out on Goose Island, hanging out with the geese. Not quite getting as close to them as you are, because those things are vicious.
Mhm.
But yeah, me and our dear viewer are looking at you feeding those geese some beets and
Hopefully that's not poisonous or something.
I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah.
Feeding the geese beets and
Mhm.
and eating your pierogi.
And playing them my beats.
Yes, exactly. They're getting a preview of the EP
Mm-hmm.
before anybody else, and
Yep.
it's pretty fucked up. But
As if you have ever.
but me and our dear viewer are going. We're gonna notice that the geese are getting quite a bit aggressive with those beats. You're running out of them at a rate that you cannot sustain much longer, and those geese are getting mighty angry, and mighty upset at the fact that you're running out of beats. So we're gonna me and our dear viewer are going to come in and save you from these geese. Just kind of wave our arms and yell, and just like kick a couple maybe. Take some by the neck, kind of just swing them like a shot put, and throw them into the river. And I don't want to hear a thing about animal cruelty because
I was just about to say a thing about animal cruelty.
because geese, they were attacking my friend, so
Okay.
I don't want to hear it. Self-defense and the such, but yeah. And after we save you from the geese and you're tending to your goose bite marks,
Goose wounds.
we're goose wounds. We're going to you're going to be very thankful for us saving you, and we're all going to embrace me in front of the viewer in the middle, and Mike behind the said viewer. And I'm going to look over at you with a tear in my eye, glad that you're okay and your goose wounds aren't too serious. And I'm going to give you a kiss on the forehead because there's one right there, just to make you feel a little better. And while this embrace that we are engaging in is called the Love Cage. And if you would like your very own, dear listener, all you must do is drop your address in the comments below, and we will find you. You won't know when, you won't know where, but we will find you and give you your very own Love Cage on whatever avian-based island you might be on. So drop that Addy.
Absolutely. Hell yeah. And depending on how my goose wounds heal, they might turn into goose bumps.
Oh no. Bum 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 bum.
Beware, you're in for a scare. Okay. All right, that's all I got. Next week we'll do a bracket of some sort.
Yes, we will.
Yes, we will. Bye-bye.